As somebody who started out as a vocalist in their career, I spend an exorbitant amount of time focusing on the vocals on the songs I listen to. And I've noticed that the vocal standards have changed so much, even over the last 10 years. And the expectations of the vocal also change depending on the genre that they're recorded for. So for a song to be successful, being a great singer is obviously important. But honestly, recording a great vocal is just the beginning. Because after you record a vocal, there's so many more steps that are integral to getting it to sound its best in the track. And all of these decisions are actually the thing that help a vocal fit in a record. And I think this is what a lot of singers miss. So today I want to talk about why even great singers need vocal production and why that has nothing to do with whether or not you can sing. Hi, I'm Ben Swarzwalter. I'm a producer, mix engineer, songwriter, and I've been a vocalist my whole life. So I tend to hear records from the singer's perspective. And in this video, I want to walk through the 5 things that take a strong vocal performance and help to turn it into a finished vocal that actually fits the final record. Because vocal production is not about fixing bad singers. It's about helping a great performance connect at the highest level. So let's start with the first one. A great performance is the starting point, not the finished product. You could be an incredible singer with the greatest tone, the greatest range, perfect pitch, and you're able to exude the emotion of the song perfectly. But that is still only the start. Now, no matter what tools we have, and I've mentioned this before in other videos, no matter what tool you have, you can't fix a performance. You can't fix how well somebody exudes the emotion of the song. Being able to translate the lyrics in an emotional way that the end user can pick up and feel. But a studio record is also not just a live performance captured and, you just record it and throw it onto Spotify. It's a produced vocal. And for those of you who maybe don't know what a produced vocal is, there's a lot of things that go into it. Comping, editing the vocals, looking at timing, pitch, dynamics, tone. You get the picture. There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle. But just because a track's going to have vocal production doesn't mean the singer wasn't good enough. It means we're making a record. Look, I've spent a lot of my life singing. Vocal production has never made me feel like I'm less of a vocalist. I see it kind of as taking the performance I gave and helping it communicate at the highest level. And the reason why we need vocal production is because of the evolution of recording. As more great tools have come to the table for audio recording and engineering, we've been able to take the vocal and really get to the point where almost you could polish it too much. And really that's kind of what AI does. And, I don't want to go down the AI rabbit hole today, but taking something and making it too perfect so that it kind of sucks all the humanity out of it. That is not what vocal production is supposed to be either. But we do have to take into account that the standards which a listener has, which has kind of been created by, the music that they listen to, the popular music out there, kind of the direction of the industry, every vocal is produced. And I would dare to say that about 98% of vocals that you hear out there have some form of tuning or auto-tune on them. And if that's surprising to you, it's just the way that it is. Great vocal production used to feel like it's kind of an extra polish, right? But in the modern genres now, it's the baseline, especially in pop-influenced music. And this is something I've said in other videos. The listener might not know all the things that go into the song and making the vocal what it is. They don't need to know what comping is, tuning, time alignment, any of that stuff. All they need to know is how it sounds to them and how that makes them feel. And in the modern production world, in the modern music industry, if you have vocals that aren't tuned and tight and aligned, what they're going to do is they're going to distract the listener, right? And that's the key, I think, that I really want to drive home today is vocal production is needed in order to not distract the listener from being able to experience the whole song as it was meant to be experienced, as you wrote it. Because your end user has listened to thousands of professionally produced vocals, and their ears know what a finished vocal feels like, even if they can't explain why. And like I said, listeners don't need to understand the vocal production in order to have expectations created by it. Now let's talk a little bit about tuning. So tuning using auto-tune, which a lot of people use the phrase auto-tune, and not every type of vocal tuning uses auto-tune. While I'll say auto-tune's on a lot of vocals, that's not the only tool we use to tune. But nowadays, especially in pop music, popular music out there, tuning is not just for correction. It is really part of the sound. And the thing that I would point to here is auto-tune, right? Auto-tune has a sound about it. And so when you put it on a vocal, and depending on what you set the settings to, it does create a feel and a sound and a polish, so to speak, that I guess for producers like me, we hear, we notice. And in order to fit in with certain genres, you need to have that tone, that polish, that sound for that vocal. Again, you don't want the vocal to be the thing that distracts the listener, because the vocals are by far the most important thing in any song that has vocals. And so the worst thing that you can do is distract the end listener from the song and from what you're trying to get across with something that sounds off or doesn't fit or any of those things. But not all pitch correction is created equal, and not every genre is going to have the same style of pitch correction. So just slapping auto-tune on something and cranking it down to 0 is not really going to work, because there are so many factors that go into pitch correction, and each of them tied to genre. There is not a one-size-fits-all way to tune vocals. In some genres, transparency is key. You want a vocal that sounds like it's not tuned at all. In other genres, like some forms of rap music, you want a really hard kind of auto-tuned sound. And that's just not something you can get from a recorded vocal. That requires vocal production, that requires somebody who knows what they're doing and understands the genre that you're working in. So some artists hear comping and think, oh, so I couldn't just sing the song? The goal of a vocal session is not to prove that you can perform the whole song perfectly from beginning to end without making any mistakes at all. The goal is to capture the most emotionally effective version of the song. So if take 5 has the incredible chorus on it, and take 3 has like a really great breath that you want to add, or like you just say a word perfectly and it's just so much better than the previous take, that is a great example of comping. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't sing the song or that your performance was bad or whatever. It's just, again, about removing any things that could distract the listener from that end goal of creating the best record possible and really translating over what you were trying to do with that song. And with timing, it's kind of the same thing, right? You're trying to remove any distractions. You're not trying to just take the vocal and just grit it so that it's exactly on every 16th note. Boom, you're perfect. That really is not how the vocal's supposed to feel. It's supposed to breathe. It's supposed to move a little bit. It's supposed to feel natural. It's not a hi-hat. But if a phrase is dragging in a way that kind of hurts the energy of the song, or the doubles and harmonies are pulling attention away from that lead, it's time to clean it up. All vocal production workflows should include timing and comping as part of their process, because it just is going to create that best overall sound. And in today's musical space, it's really the bare minimum. Tight vocals don't mean robotic vocals. They just mean they're not distracting the listener. So my last point and most important one here is that the vocal has to belong to the record. And this is where EQ, compression, saturation, your reverb choices, delay, automation, your doubles and harmonies all stacked together, all of that comes in. And that's really where your producer and mix engineer should really step up and take care of you. All of these decisions and all of those pieces are unique. They're unique to your voice. There's not a one-size-fits-all piece to any of these. Now, there's certain things, certain reverbs that work in different scenarios, in different cases, in different genres, right? But there's not a one-size-fits-all vocal chain. So if you're scrolling on YouTube, you see somebody like me or on Instagram, and they're like, here is the perfect vocal chain, or here's the vocal chain of Dua Lipa. It doesn't matter. What matters is what vocal chain and the choices that are made to make your unique voice sound the best it can for the track, for your style, etc. Your finished vocal is going to exist inside the emotional world of your song. So if your song's slow, if it needs a bigger reverb, whatever it might be, does your vocals need to feel inches away from my face? Or Do they need to be distant and dreamy? All of those choices need to align properly with the song. And I think this point goes to something that's hard for a lot of people in the industry is there's not a one-size-fits-all easy solution. These things are hard. You have to think about them. You have to make the right decisions and do the hard work. You got to push the boulder up the hill to get the best results. It just is what it is. If you want the best, you got to do the work. You can't just pop in a bunch of plugins that you saw some Joe Schmo on Instagram say this is the best plugin chain for whatever. Take the time, try things out. And that's why it's important to have somebody who really knows what they're doing help and take a look at the song. A mix engineer, producer, those people who can see the vision of your song and help it get to where it needs to go. I don't EQ or compress or add a reverb to a vocal because that's what you do with vocals. I do it because I'm trying to make the vocal occupy the right emotional space for the record. So I think when it all comes down to it, kind of summarize the things that we've talked about here. Vocal production should support the emotion of the song and the direction that it's supposed to go and not replace it. Just because somebody had auto-tune or some form of vocal tuning doesn't mean they're a bad singer. All it means is that, guess what? They're trying to have a great record and they're trying to make a modern track and something that is going to stand up against the other tracks out there and all these big records that are getting produced with hundreds of thousands of dollars. The goal of your vocals and vocal production should never be perfection. The goal should be connection. Now you can strive for perfection and that's something that I try to do in everything I do. I'm a type of person that likes to go for that 99th percentile. Can I get to 100%? How close can I get to perfection? That's fine. But the reality is we're not going to make it. So we have to do our best to try to get there. But to be at 100% or to get to 99%, the most important piece is the connection with the end listener. So the record's not going to be as good if you can't do that. So let me know your thoughts about vocal production. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Was there anything I said that was helpful to you? Let me hear it in the comments. And if I said anything you like, give me a like and subscribe. We'd love to see you back on this channel. Comment, all of that helps us out. We'll hope to see you back at a future video. And no matter what, keep making great music, guys.